あ、ここいるんだ。
本当？見えないでしょ？どこにいるのかな？見えないよ。What's good, Internet? It's Friday, April 17th, and you are listening to Waypoint Radio, episode 307. Joining me today, Gita Jackson is back on the podcast. Hi, Gita.
What up? I'm
How are you
here.
doing? Hi, welcome.
Thank you. I mean, I'm doing alright. Like,
You just showed us a big cat mug, which made me feel good.
Yeah. This is
Um,
one of my 3 mugs. I got one from the Giant Bomb Late Show.
Okay.
One my friend Rachel gave me that says, "I love my grand dog," and this mug.
Good.
So
Wait,
Great.
your grand dog?
my grand dog.
Sure. You know what? Sure. There was also the voice of Ricardo Contreras. Hi, Cado. How you doing? Do you love
Okay.
your grand dog?
If I had one, I would.
Damn. You have to think
you
about your
gotta-
hypothetical grand dog, in my opinion.
I love all dogs, so yes.
So by definition.
Any
Finally,
dog that would exist.
the dog owner himself, Robert Zachney, has joined us. Is Mina nearby?
She is mercifully asleep.
Sweet dreams to you, Mina.
Pet owners have entered a whole new world in the pandemic, gotta say.
How is it going to y'all, for y'all, you pet owners out there?
I think me and Mina, not Mina. Mina's not mine.
Damn.
I wish that I could.
Damn.
Not mine. Me and Ella have like really developed a strong level of communication now. I feel like we truly understand each other a lot. Unfortunately, she is just insane. The other day, I'm staying up until like 2 every night now because it's just like I roll out of bed and then I immediately get on the computer. It's whatever. And I was going to bed and I was like brushing my teeth and taking a shower. Ella really wanted me to be in the bed, but like I have to do that. And I came out of the bathroom and she just ran out of my room where she was. And, like ran halfway up the hallway to the bathroom door and then just started screaming. Like just screaming and screaming and screaming until I got into the bed and got in the bed with her.
Buddy.
Yeah.
Buddy.
I know exactly what she wants now. It's just her requests are
That's
very,
an
very
improvement,
intense.
right?
Yeah,
Sure.
for sure. Yeah.
Rob, how are you doing as a pet owner?
Oh, I think it's really a double-edged sword. In some ways, it's a lot of fun being around the dog all the time. It is really relaxing when a dog's like asleep on your foot or gets under your desk and just drowses there. Like it's the best thing in the world. But the problem is that there's times when Mina gets lots of attention and she loves it. She's like, this is the best. Particularly if she's getting attention from both me and MK at the same time. Like when we're both sitting there on the couch and like one of us is holding a chew toy and the other's petting her, like Mina's just happy as can be. But then Mina thinks this is how it should be. Yes, I am Mina. And
this is my domain. Yeah.
I am entitled to this level of interaction and attention. And then unfortunately, it turns into the midday when for some reason the humans aren't doting on Mina.
Wow.
And are in fact ignoring her. And
I
then
mean,
she's
I get
just
it.
yeah.
That sounds unfair to me.
Yeah, I think she doesn't like she's getting better, I think, at understanding that when I'm at my computer, like, okay, that is like I'm not super interactable at that point. But she only has so much patience for that. Like by the late afternoon, she starts throwing tantrums. And then it starts to get really intense. Where it will be she will find whatever, like the other thing, she's very smart, and so she knows like the things she can do to immediately produce a response. And I know I'm being gamed. I know I need to not react or underreact. But the problem is that like I can literally hear threads pulling on a pillow or something like that. Or like I hear a stack of tax paperwork I've been meaning to file begin to crinkle and crunch. And before I can like check myself and be like, hey, you just need to like really low key go over there and like take that away from the dog and hand her a toy, which I guess is the thing you're supposed to do. Like you're supposed to just substitute and be like, hey, I'm not really reacting to this, but I'm no longer giving you the option to continue fucking shit up. But instead, what I'm doing is like, no, and I have to race across there, like immediately be like, Mina, don't do that.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you're an
hon.
animal too. You have
Yeah.
that emotional instant reaction. It's like you can't help it, really. Ella's very good at goading me into doing the things that she wants me to do. I've gotten good at resisting. I think the difference between dogs and cats is like my cat, despite the fact that she will still try to claw underneath the door when the door is closed if she really wants to get in, she has gotten very good at understanding. Like, I'm at the desk. I'm not on the bed to pet her. I am not going to leave the bed to pet her. If she goes into the living room and I close the door, she figures out what to do in the living room. It's been basically falling asleep on the couch, but cats are mostly asleep during the day anyway. The problem is when she's awake, the amount of playing with her that she wants me to do is much, much more than it has been previously. And I've been trying to like meet her in the middle because she does need stimulation and I'm here. And like that's what she associates me with. She associates me with petting, food, and playing. And so if I'm not fulfilling one of those three functions for her, she's like, "Why do you exist?
Yeah.
I'm gonna yell at you," which I get, Uh, so that is the thing. Is like because I'm here all day, the level of
Yeah.
interaction she expects is so much higher, and I just like I can't be holding a stick with a feather on it for that long. I got
It's
other shit I need to
impossible.
do. It
Totally.
really is. I have to
Cado,
my laundry.
you're not a pet owner, right?
Not currently. I had
A
I
pet
had a
haver?
cat. I had a cat once
Yeah,
upon a time.
me too.
And I miss my cat.
Me too.
But
Same.
I've been very close in the times of
Oh, I
pandemic
bet.
to fucking, you know what, who needs a cat to be fostered, or you know what, just adopt it outright,
Just get yourself a
I
cat
need
right
it
now.
right now.
You should
That
look
would be
into it,
great.
Cado. I
I gotta
feel like your
figure
life
this
would
It is
out.
be.
it is about to be kitten season. You might be able
Oh
to just scoop
fuck.
one up off the street very soon. But if not, you could just get in touch with any of the shelters in your area.
Yeah.
I have a lot
Yeah.
of Instagram links of people who foster kittens and like in our area. So I will let you
It's
know because like
adorable. Well, that's
there's
the thing.
still
We
so
were.
many stray cats on the streets, and they're all gonna be fucking soon. Like it's
Yeah.
really gonna be
Yeah.
an issue.
We were both just me and Christina were both considering whether or not to get a dog before this, because we like animals of all sorts. So like we had a cat, and then we are like, what if we got a dog next? Got a small dog, and then COVID happened, put everything on pause. Then also wrapped back around to like, okay, maybe a dog would be nice, but now there are like no adoptable dogs in New York City.
Yeah.
All like everyone
They all got
got a
adopted.
fucking
Yeah.
dog. But then we're like, but cats are we love cats too. Cats are good. They still need adopting.
They do.
I know a
Yeah.
lady who has some poodles.
How are you gonna
You
get a
don't
poodle
say.
from in New York?
No, of course not.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was gonna
If you
Massachusetts is
want
not that far,
a
man. It's a drive.
nightmarish dog that will destroy your apartment, Rob's got
Oh
a guy.
my god.
Here, Rob's got a poodle guy. Yeah.
I feel like a poodle is too big for my apartment. That's the thing. We were looking
Mina
at
is
like
No,
very-
see, the great thing is
chihuahuas.
poodles come in all sizes. For
Okay.
instance, we thought Mina was going to be like a lapdog size
Uh-huh.
poodle. That was what we
No.
were told to expect. And it turned even among the standard poodle variety, there's like little tiny like beagle sized poodles.
Uh-huh.
And then there's what Mina appears to be turning into, which is just a giant fucking asshole dog. Who will like stand on her hind legs and like shove you
Oh my god.
if like there's something she wants or desires. Other than that, I was herded into bed.
Wow.
I went upstairs to you have to brush your teeth and like hang up your clothes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Was taking too long apparently. And so like Mina gently bites my hand, but not like a bite, but like to grip it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like pull it. She pulls me toward the bed, maneuvers me by it, and then when I'm standing there, she hops up and shoves me like hard enough that I did like
We're going to bed.
sit down on the bed, and she was like, "Great, I'm happy." Hopped on the bed, grabbed her chew toy, and just like curled up like between us, and she was like,
I
"This
love
is
this
right."
fucking dog.
Wow.
You know
I love
what?
this dog.
This
so
is Mina's
much.
house. Mina runs this.
God,
Mina is in charge.
Mina's so good.
The warning sign should have been when we picked up when he picked up Mina, the breeder, as you might expect, has a bunch of poodles in, in her family, and there's 3 that she has as like her house pets, in addition to the ones she breeds and sells. But Mina's uncle was this giant fucking poodle named Manny, and he was enormous. And so like the first thing we when we went there to like look at the dogs, this giant poodle shows up with an enormous stuffed fish clenched in its mouth, like comically large. like it was basically the equivalent of the like one of those like novelty trouts that you mount on the wall.
Yeah.
Like it was like one of those things, like in its mouth, and just sort of follow us around and love to like hop up on his hind legs and like put his hands on your shoulders and would be like, yes, I own you now. Like you are sitting, you are fine. And I was like, boy, I hope my dog doesn't turn out like that.
Well,
Turns out.
it turns out maybe it runs in the family.
God.
Those are
Well,
good.
animals are good. I think that's what we're here to say. Maybe that's our.
Is that
maybe
what
that's
we were
our.
saying?
Podcast over.
Animals are good. That's what we said. Maybe they're not good. Maybe your life is not perfectly aligned with their goodness, but their goodness is not in doubt. Is this our transition into talking about doing an Animal Crossing update? Because are animals still good?
You know, I visited finally after Bunny Day was over, and I had such a pleasant time in my town
Good.
again. Finally,
It's,
my
Zipper is
current
gone. The
Zipper's
eggs
gone. No more
are
eggs.
out of the trees.
Yeah,
Spring
I finally.
is here.
God, I'm so sad. I missed every single cherry blossom recipe. Did
Yeah.
not get a single one.
Yeah.
And they
I'll
were
send you what
gone
I got.
before
I have
knew
a
it.
couple things I can send.
So
Oh,
rude.
thank you. I was building like a little bamboo grove, and I put in the bamboo hearth there, and I wanted some of the cherry blossom like
Sure.
lanterns to put near it so that it had like a nice glow at night. And then they were all gone. And
Well,
all
I can't
got
send
were
you
some
that because I
fucking
didn't get
eggs.
that recipe. I only got the picnic and the walls
Oh,
or
you just
something.
gotta,
The picnic blanket would be fine.
The picnic
like,
is nice. Yeah, I like the picnic
Yeah.
blanket a lot.
Yeah,
just
it's
gotta
just
go
like
on
I need.
Nookazon. You can find all that shit
Oh my
there.
God.
You say
I-
that we're a week out from that being real. We're a
No,
week
what
out.
do you mean?
No, no,
I
dude. I
in the
gotta link
chat.
you some shit. In the chat, look at this. This
I don't
is
wanna
a
click
real
this.
thing.
It's a
And
real
I
thing
don't
Animal
want to click
already.
Crossing,
this. I don't want to
New
click this.
Horizons people are fucking amazing.
Holy shit!
Like I have seen Nookazon for
This isn't a joke.
object.
No, this is
And then
not
I
a joke.
Fired
see
for organizing by a Tanuki.
Yeah, like I've seen a buy. Okay, so Nookazon, what we've linked in the
Thank
chat
you, Rob.
is a website that lists every single item in Animal Crossing.
This is
Horizons
unbelievable.
with in alphabetical order, and then it just will give you a list of who has it and like what their town is and how to get in contact with them so you can buy it
Okay,
from them.
why is Judy, a snooty cub villager, listed as an item to purchase on Nookazon?
So that's if you
So-
want people to leave your town. Those are villagers that are fed up
Wait,
enough
that's
to
like
leave the
hitmen?
town. And if you
Oh.
talk to them on the day that they're going to leave, then they will come to your town.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you can buy a
Right.
villager, basically.
So it's not a dark web, just like fire and forget. Like, okay.
God,
Oh.
one of these days.
So I
there's
hear
a-
you've been
Wait.
having the
Community.
Pietro experience.
Yeah. We could take care of that. That's on the list of services we provide.
We remove some night clowns, if you know what I mean.
The way that this community has used the internet to enhance the gameplay of this game in terms of connecting you to other players who have what you want, that is fucking incredible to me. I'm like not necessarily about people who have like figured out how exactly to track the stock market and stuff. That's just like a level of mystery that I like. But this
Mhm.
stuff where it specifically shows you how to get in contact with other real people, I think
Right.
is incredible.
We're like, if what you desperately, really, truly want is a cool pansy wreath or a crude spaceship, why is there a crude spaceship available? That's
A
not a
crude
thing
one?
I
I
expected.
mean, I want the
I mean,
regular
actually,
one.
What? Sorry, crude. CREWED, not CRUDE.
There's a crew on there.
Yeah,
Excuse
there's
me?
a crew on this spaceship. That feels not good. I feel like those people need to not be
let
on
them
the
out.
spaceship. Let them out. They're not in space.
Oh
I
my
do need a
God.
rocket. How much does a rocket go for?
You gotta have the materials, apparently.
Oh, materials required for this rocket, huh?
Yeah.
No, this person says 20,000 straight up, not materials required.
Oh, damn. Nice.
I gotta get in touch with Tiff.
Yo,
That's
I
the
mean,
other
like,
thing is that people put in their Discord
their
names
fucking
out here.
Discord
I'm
names
like,
out here.
what?
Never in my life.
Nope.
I
Don't-
mean, this is like what I find so incredible about it. Like, my like Steam name and my PS4 name and like all my names on all the gamer networks are different from what I brand myself as,
Sure.
specifically because I don't want randos trying to find me and asking me questions when I'm just trying to play a video game. The level of openness that the Animal Crossing community has with each other and the fact that it basically never results in anyone with hurt feelings is amazing. It's incredible to me. Like, I love that this game has fostered so much trust within the community that people just don't take advantage of it. Like, not that I'm sure it
Or
happens,
I mean, if
but like
if it
largely,
does happen, there's a fucking rating system on this website, so you can get
Uh-huh.
stars. This
Damn.
person right here has 1 star, so I don't think I'm going to try to trade with them.
I'm not gonna trust them. No, fuck
No,
them.
but this
God,
fucking
that rocks. I love this so much.
Derp
Oh my
Much
God.
has 5 stars. I think
Great.
I can
I
give
can
them
finally get-
100,000 bells for this spaceship.
I can finally get Tangy if I use this website. I
You
want
could.
Tangy so badly.
The fact that you can have fruits here is so simple.
Yeah.
It's so basic. The idea, like, oh yeah, I want apples. Were we ever so young as to simply want apples for our village? When now we know that what we could have is a model of an arowana fish. You know, actually, there are no listings for that right now. Those are going to be very rare because you can only get those from the fish dude, right?
CJ, yeah.
From CJ.
Well, I think that's not CJ, right, though? My
What?
headcanon, that's Flick.
Oh, that is Flip. Flip is doing it, but you go to CJ for it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's
Yeah.
great. I love them. I love that for them.
People are out here talking about offering a Nook Miles ticket for a stack of cash aluminum briefcase. That thing is so expensive. Fuck that.
What do you
That
mean?
aluminum briefcase is 100,000 bells. I'm not going to give you a Nook Mile. I'm not going to give you mine for a Nook Miles ticket.
Oh.
Absolutely not.
Well, that's
See,
the
this
thing.
is like-
Isn't there a
That listing is
limit?
just- you're stumbling into the tip of the iceberg of intrigue. Like, it's what's
Right.
in
You're
the
right.
briefcase.
You're right. It's right. You're right. You're right.
It's the Pulp Fiction briefcase of
Yeah.
like you open it up, the light. Oh, it's great.
Yeah. Totally. You're right. God.
The-
I mean, I do. I mean, I basically do have that in my animal. I did buy that one, the one that opens. It's not light, but it is gold, and that that to me, if I shoot it just right, it does look sort of like the Pulp Fiction
Damn.
situation.
Someone's getting rid of Raymond for
Ronin, but
2
Animal
million
Crossing.
bells.
Yes. Yes. God. All right. I'm not going to engage with this. I need to make a decision. I need to make a decision to not look at this and to not engage with it and just to keep playing my game
Well, so Nook
the way I
Miles.
want.
Okay, so
Here's the
I have
thing.
a
Nook Miles. Do
question.
Nook Miles have the once you get all of the like large ones that aren't the ones
Yeah.
that reset every day, is that it? Like you can't re-get any of those, right?
You can
Yeah,
you can get multiples of the big things.
Well,
You
they
could get
have
3 Godzillas if you wanted,
no,
right?
no, no.
Look at
Sorry.
the
What I
Godzilla,
mean, is like in the Nook Miles app, the things that you
Yeah.
get that the quote unquote achievements basically that you
The-
get
so,
Nook
like,
Miles for.
Like changing the different path types, stuff like
Right.
that. You mean?
Right,
Yes.
right. Once you fill one of those cards, that's it, right? So in theory, eventually you will run out of large sources of Nook Miles, and the only thing you'll have is
Yeah.
the like daily stuff.
Yeah, but those dailies you can burn through.
Right. Like if you
I
really
get what
want to
you're
grind
saying.
them
You're
out.
saying you're saying that there is a moment coming up where if you wanted to really make bells, you would start hoarding Nook Miles tickets
Uh-huh.
now.
in order to
and
be able to
then
Rancho
in
Island
a
whenever
month-
you want.
Right. Right.
When people
I
are
feel
like
like-
running out of the big chunk, because like the bigger ones are like they start at 500, then they go up to like 1,000 for like the more of that objective
There's
that
a
you do.
decent amount of those kinds of achievements, but it is finite, you know.
What if it
Right.
resets
I
when you
wonder,
finish the
though-
last one?
I wonder if they're gonna add more as
Right.
the game.
Yeah, true.
Or something.
True.
Yeah, because
The-
I've started filling up all of the slots
Yeah.
on some of those. Like
Yeah.
the I finished up the one that's like on the amount of things you have in your storage. So that was also disappointing because I need a bigger house now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like starting to happen. So I do wonder if I'm
Does
sorry, I'm
anything
checking
happen
the
if you
turnip
get them
prices on my
all?
island, and like my least favorite villager is out, and I hate her. Anyway,
Mm.
sorry.
Wait, I should check prices too. It's 11:30. We should all.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
know. I gotta know.
Live price check on turnips.
11:30. Let's see.
Sorry,
I got
Rob.
a really good
Rob,
price
you're
on
along for the
turnips
ride.
on the weekend. I got 94 bells, so I'm trying to turn a
You're
profit.
trying to flip them. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
you. Someone I know,
know?
I think today has
Turn up.
300.
Yeah,
Profit.
that's what I'm hoping for. I
Alright,
have
here we go.
the
According-
predictor. See,
But my predictor says I have an 18% chance at a large spike, but looking more like a 64 chance that it's just descending all week.
Mine is going to be trash again all week, according to the predictor. So, like,
Awesome.
who cares? Who cares? You know what's good about this is in 30 minutes we could do a second check.
Yeah, we're gonna do a
I
second
know.
check.
All right, turnip
I
prices.
got a
Let's see.
jester costume at the store, and
Oh.
I've really been loving it every day. I gotta say.
49 bells. Get the fuck out of here.
56.
Sleep mode.
Love to. You know what? Technically, 56 is a small bump from yesterday's 54, which means it could be
No,
on,
you're
the, on the
done.
rise.
You're done.
Could be
You're
on the
done.
rise. It's still.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's see what the fucking
Mine was
predictor
already
says.
at 135 yesterday, so I feel like it's gonna go up, but I feel like the spike is gonna be today, just based on intuition. I
Mhm.
haven't really been playing the stock market much, but I just have a feeling
can
based
feel
on how
it.
this game fucks you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, let me do Animal Crossing update
139?
that is not
Fuck
about
you.
the horror stuff, which is I feel like I'm really happy with my village. I feel
Nice.
like I did like a nice downtown area, and
Did
then
you end
have
up
like a
getting rid of
residential.
Beardo?
No, I got Beardo. Beardo was never. Getting rid of Beardo. I
Yeah.
tried really hard to get Beardo.
What?
You're confusing Beardo with somebody else.
No. I
Yes,
could have. I would have
absolutely.
sworn that when you first got Beardo, you were like,
No, I
looks
never. I only got Beardo like 3 days ago. Beardo is a new arrival.
no
You're confusing
way.
Beardo maybe with Kurlos or with Lyman or Rattle, all the other weirdos that I have living on my island. Beardo, I know for a fact that Beardo was a whole thing for me because I was giving live updates to my friends while trying to convince Beardo to move in.
Gotcha.
Beardo made me play a card game to convince him to move in. And I kept failing it, and he kept giving me additional chances. And it was very nerve-wracking. I had to like
Dance with
just
his
talk to him.
hair still.
You don't like that he has bad hair? Or under hair?
The under hair is too much.
I'm gonna put Beardo in the chat here for Rob.
I got Beardo. I didn't know you needed Beardo.
I would love to have it. He showed up in the camp. Okay, so here's the thing that happened. The thing that happened is I spent a lot of Nook Miles tickets trying to get a snooty villager and a what's the other one? What's the other like one?
Smug?
Smug. So he's smug, right? And then there was also I needed a snooty. And so I went to like 6 or 7 different islands, different Nook Mile islands, trying to find it wasn't I think I had smug. I think I had snooty. What I didn't have was cranky. I needed a cranky villager and I needed a smug villager. And so I went to like one after another looking for those and just could not get them. And then when he finally showed up, 1, I didn't think I had the space for him, but I did, so it's fine. And then 2, I didn't. He just like wouldn't say yes over and over again, and so I had to keep like begging him to please, like move to my island. I'm begging you. And he'd be like, "No, I'm in a band. Sorry."
This guy?
No.
Right here?
Yeah, this guy right here, Beardo. He's great. I'm trying to complete the vibe set. So I needed someone who had his smugness, Rob.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, let me contrast that with who I got as my cranky villager, who is this motherfucker named Limburg.
Lindbergh?
Limburg, like the
Okay.
cheese.
Oh, I don't
All the
like
mice.
that.
I don't like that.
You need to understand that in game he's like a retired Japanese like Gita in the chat. Gita's blue screened, but Gita says no. He's like a retired like office worker vibe is kind of what I get from him.
Okay.
He's like here's the plus. The plus is his house is like an autumnal retreat. It's like there's a little pond inside of his house. The walls are trees, and there's like autumn leaves blowing everywhere. He just has stuff made out of autumnal like fall leaves, that's like the whole vibe. And also one of those things that he has is a pile of leaves on fire in the corner of his house, which I feel is a safety threat personally. Contrast that with Beardo or Beardo. Here's the thing. He's a bear.
Yeah.
He has, I would say, lovingly styled sideburns and a mustache. No beard.
No. Well, that's why I think that's what the under hair.
You think the underbeard? You think it's an underbeard?
It's an underbeard. I don't.
He's wearing.
That's not pubic hair.
That's an underbeard.
That's what an under. I hate
Yeah.
this.
Why?
I hate
It's
the
natural
underbeard.
for a bear to have an underbeard. Look it up, Cado.
God, it just looks so wrong on this because like wearing clothes.
Just a big thick
so the
tuft of dark
implication
hair
that they're-
below his waistcoat. It's fine.
He's
I
proud
hate
about it.
pants.
It's the classic animal wearing only top clothes but no bottom clothes.
But with something
dilemma,
to draw
but
your
this time
eyes.
it's gone
yes,
wrong.
Exactly, made
Yeah.
explicit. This bear.
It's not explicit. The hair is covering anything that's there. The hair is like a gift from God to cover
I mean explicit
Beardo's
in
junk.
that,
I'll say it.
in that you know that it's
Wait,
wrong
who's Cado?
now.
Oh,
You have
Cado's
been
back.
taught
Cado's back.
shame. What?
You left for you
Did
were
I?
you were so upset that you vanished
Oh God.
from this podcast.
Oh, I can't. If it
Okay,
weren't
well,
for the
wait.
underbeard, it would be fine.
Look how polite. Look at this fan art. Doing a little bow.
That's
People
very
like
cute
Beardo.
fan art.
That's
The
here's some,
one thing, it just draws my eye so much in a way that I do not enjoy.
What about this one where Beardo is hanging out?
Wearing
with
pants.
Fully clothed,
Wearing pants.
I actually
Wearing
don't love this
fucking
one.
Pants.
I don't love this one.
Who's that dog?
Who is that dog? I think is that let me see, Butch from Animal Crossing? That's Butch from Animal Crossing is that dog. There's a photo here of
Kind
Butch,
of a dirtbag
Mary.
vibe there.
This is like incredible dirtbag vibe, Butch. This is the name of this piece over on Reddit is Me and Beardo and the Famous Girl. Featuring Mary, Butch, and Beardo. This is a very I don't love it, I'll be honest. All right, how about this? This is good. This is one of the human version images. This is from Benji Campbell on Twitter, who I'm not vouching for. I don't know shit about Benji Campbell. If you're listening, Benji, I'm not dissing you either. I don't know who you are. But here's an art of Beardo as a human and Diva as a human.
Pants. Wearing pants.
What if that's just a different type of underbeard?
See,
The implication here that these pants are made out of fucking pubic hair?
They're made out of hair.
God damn it.
I'm here to defend Beardo's honor. Some people are hairy. Some people aren't hairy.
I'm not.
Some people wear pants. Other people don't wear pants. Sometimes those things align in such a way where you go like, not my cup of tea, but I'm not going to say you can't live in my town.
Yeah.
I need a snooty villager.
Here's the thing. I didn't do anything to Beardo. I just also didn't talk to Beardo. And Beardo's leaving. Beardo's
Exclusion
leaving today.
is wow. Okay. Damn. Damn. I have
Which
someone
is
in my
fucked
campsite
up,
today.
'cause-
I don't know who it is.
Oh yeah.
You know, while we're waiting for Gita, guess what? Going back to the campsite.
Let's see who's
welcome
there.
welcome to an episode of Waypoint Radio where I'm playing Animal Crossing. That's the energy that's in the air today. Go on this journey with me.
So, I don't think. Does it? Do you have one of each Animal Crossing?
I
type?
now have one of each type.
Is that an
I mean, I have
ideal
more
situation?
than I have more than one. I have more than one of certain types because that's just how it goes.
Okay.
There aren't 10 types, I don't think. Oh, who's this cute dog?
Who you
Who's
got?
Daisy?
Daisy?
I want to look up Daisy. Daisy, the Animal Crossing villager. Animal Crossing. Daisy. Here we go. Pull this
Cute.
over here. Boom. Daisy is like a dog villager with like off-white fur and a big smile.
That's the one you
In
posted
mine-
before. No. This is the humans.
Oh fuck! I just reposted the humans again. Shit. My bad. Where did I put Daisy? There. Copy image. Paste. Boom. In mine, she's wearing a much different sweater vibe.
I was gonna
than this
say
one, but-
she's wearing a Mondrian.
Yeah, that's not actually what she's wearing here. Here, she's just
Damn.
wearing kind of like a red and teal and dark blue, and like there's some pastels and there's stripes. It's nice. It's a nice sweater. She's nice. Anyway, bye.
Very cute.
She's eating a sandwich, and that's my Animal Crossing update.
Great.
How's Gita doing? Are we still?
I think not good.
Oh, buddy.
What's
I think
funny
maybe
is that I really
Gita doesn't need a new monitor.
I think maybe Gita needs a new computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, here, let's
Uh,
look up pre-builts for her.
Sure. I've been trying to get rid of this villager called Puddles. I've talked about Puddles on the
Oh, I
pod
would not want a
before.
villager called Puddles. I feel like that's asking for trouble with an animal.
My
Puddles. Oh, I don't like the frog eyes. I guess we've been over this, right?
yeah, no, specifically Puddles frog eyes, because they are
Yeah.
a separate color from the rest of her face, make me
Yeah.
distinctly aware that it is like the bunny head, but the eyes are on the ears, and I can't unsee that anymore, so I don't want her in my vicinity.
Life. Yeah, I gotcha.
Gotta leave.
Yeah, Puddles is
But
yeah.
somehow Beardo left before Puddles did, and Puddles is still fucking hanging out. And I have a feeling it has something to do with the mix of villagers. I feel like Beardo was actually the
Was
odd
Beardo
one
your
out.
second, like your repeat villager, basically?
Huh?
Was Beardo your Oh, you're saying that Beardo as a smug villager was not getting along with
Yeah,
your cranky jock and sisterly villagers.
right. Like
Gotcha.
the other villagers that I have, and therefore left earlier than Puddles, who I also want to leave, but I think
Right.
gets along with people, which is unfortunate.
Cado just hates everybody.
Yeah,
I
that's what it
don't.
sounds like.
I love everyone else on my island. Fucking Tank is great. I have a baby penguin. His name is Wade. He's fucking great. His catchphrase is "so it goes," but he's
So
also
it
very
goes.
happy. It's very good.
Wade
is
Super Nirvana
great.
Get. I was that age too once.
We've all
fucking-
been Wade, you know?
Right, exactly. I don't like Eugene, but at least Eugene's kind of funny. Eugene is a koala that
Oh, I love Eugene. I love Eugene.
I love Eugene in
He's-
theory, but
yes.
he's also definitely a fucking government plant.
Yeah, do you have the version of his house that has like the investigation wall up and
Uh-huh.
like okay,
Yep,
I'm gonna send this
and like
picture
a-
to Rob.
A fucking reel
This
to
is-
reel next to it.
it's-
Yep.
So good.
Is
When I saw
Eugene
him,
Gene Hackman from the
No,
conversation.
From the conversation.
here's the thing: is like I saw Eugene and giving his speech patterns. I was
Oh,
like,
that's
this is
sick
like
as
a
hell.
fucking Blues Brother ass like.
Yeah,
Just kinda
that's
like-
that's the vibe. But maybe
Right?
that's just because he's you
Well,
know
I
what?
mean, I
Maybe
guess-
maybe he's an agitator. Maybe he's infiltrated, you know, the
He's
subculture.
playing, he's playing KK
yeah, uh-huh.
Agent, the fucking James Bond ripoff song on that reel to reel as you walk in, and I'm like, oh god, no. Also,
That's- yeah.
he was so into the fucking eggs. I'm just like, you gotta be a fucking plant.
That's everybody. Everyone was in the eggs. I fucking
No,
hate.
no,
Yeah.
there's a difference between like being like egg day's fun, and him being like, yo, I need every single one of these eggs. I want them all. I need to collect at least 10 of them of each kind. Like, he was
That
way
does
too
sound like
into
a
it.
government agent to me. Yeah. I do have real video games to talk. Not that
Yeah, we-
I have new video games to talk
New,
about,
right,
but we
right.
should
We
wait
have-
until Gita, I guess.
Yeah, let me double check and see what's up.
The creepy fixation on eggs reminded me of this glorious clickhole piece. Ted Cruz announces he's suspending his campaign to tend his thousands of glistening eggs.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm not trying to get Eugene to leave. I don't like him on principle. My favorite is Cyrano. I got Cyrano, the fucking judo anteater. That's also probably a Cyrano de Bergerac reference.
yeah, definitely. Right?
Yeah, he's an anteater. Got a long snout. Animal Crossing. Oh, weird. He's not wearing the judo thing in any of these images. Imagine this anteater, but wearing a judo gi. That didn't work.
No, that one didn't. Oh, if I click through, it goes through. Wait, why is in the image you sent us just now of Serrano? It looks like he's sort of transparent in certain places.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, no.
Oh, that's just a weird gradient effect that
Yeah.
they didn't. That's not seeing through to the background vector map thing. That's just the way their gradient worked on his shirt. Okay,
Yeah, it looks
I
like.
see now.
I like that shirt. Misty. I think it's a Misty tee. But he's wearing a like judo gi in my
Gotcha.
island, and it's great.
So yeah, I guess Gita's computer broke. I don't know, blue screened. Hasn't come back yet. We're gonna take a break and see and give Gita some time to see if her computer can come back online. Regardless, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about some other stuff we've been playing that is not Animal Crossing. So BRB. All right, we are back. Gita, your computer is back alive. Thank you for joining us again. I'm glad you're back.
My computer hates this webcam, but only when I'm using it with Discord. Every other program, it's fine. Just Discord.
That's also Cado's problem in a sense, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
my computer doesn't die though. It's just
that's
like
true.
we're gonna desync your audio. It doesn't matter. Video clapping.
Who
like
cares?
3 seconds later, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It was amusing to watch Cado just slowly slide out of sync. Just like very, very slowly, you'd see him reacting to things 2-3 seconds after you said them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Really
that
nice.
degree of amusement is offset sadly by the degree of frustration as it became harder to know if Cado heard what we just said instead of easier to know.
Yeah.
We should talk about some other stuff. Rob and I are both playing games we can't talk about yet, and we're frustrated that we can't talk about them yet because I think it'll be a fun conversation. We want to talk about we want to talk about tactics, but we can't talk about tactics because everything tactical is under embargo right now. Except I want to do more than just a short shout out here because I really think there's a game that's like about to find a larger audience, which is a game called Horizon's Gate, which you can find on Steam. I'm going to link it now to y'all. It is a game that I first heard about via a who got it in front of me first? I guess it was Robert Yang on Twitter tweeted about this game, and I was like, huh, that seems interesting. And then Darius Kazemi came in and said, yeah, no, this game is the real shit. The pitch that Robert Yang gives it is a hearty, Robert says, I want a second Tiny Subversion's hearty recommendation of Horizon's Gate. If you're looking for a Stardew Valley / Skyrim type comfort food RPG, I'm 30 hours in and I still don't know what the main story is. I'm like, that's okay. That's a combo of things. Darius puts it, kind of situates it a little more particularly, saying that it's an homage to the 1993 SNES strategy /sim/RPG Uncharted Waters 2 New Horizons, adding a Final Fantasy Tactics style combat system to the mix, which again is like there's a meets happening here that is intriguing at the very least. I think that I'm like 5 or 6 hours in. I almost fell much deeper in late last night, and I was like, I have to go to bed. This is a this is a piece of my favorite type of outsider art in video games, which is it's a game with incredible ambitions made by someone who has fairly mainstream tastes or fairly mainstream tastes from a certain period of time, and also has found the exact right like lane in which they can make the thing that they have in their heads actually work and actually show up. For me, the comparisons here in terms of tactical combat, like obviously Final Fantasy Tactics is a touchstone for folks, but this actually feels a lot combat-wise like Divinity Original Sin, where there's lots of interactions between different like states of being in the combat. But even there, I'm getting ahead of myself. So here's the pitch on this game. You are playing, this game is a kind of 2D, 16-bit-esque. Stardew Valley is a really good comparison point for this game in terms of visual style, if you're looking at the trailer. I'll note that this same person who's made this game has made 2 previous games, and both of those games look just like this, and one of them predates Stardew Valley. So I don't think this is like a biting Stardew Valley.
No, it's just like, is this RPG Maker? Is that what that
It is not
tile set
RPG
is?
Maker.
Okay.
I don't think this is RPG. You know what? It could be RPG Maker, but I've never seen anything in RPG Maker look or feel like this, and I've played enough RPG Maker games to talk about game feel at least. Like, it doesn't feel like you're moving on individual tiles in that way. It doesn't feel, and I know that you can do a lot with RPG Maker, but it doesn't have any of the stuff
like,
that
is it
feels
a
like that.
stretched,
Right, no.
kind of pushed to the limits RPG Maker situation, or just because like the aesthetics seemed similar?
Right, totally. So you are playing as, in this kind of overhead 2D JRPG looking thing, a Commodore in a fleet for one of the 4 great empires of this fantasy world. There are a bunch of different fantasy races to play as. Like, obviously, there are cat people, and there are big sheep people, and there are fish people who actually look like fish and not like, it's not just like hot people, but they have fish gills. There's a race of people who don't have any eyes, but or don't have any, not just eyes, they don't have faces at all. They're faceless humanoids who can sense things in 360 degrees around them. And they have a culture of wearing masks because so many other people in the world can't stand to look at their faces, which is really sad. And fuck the world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Their masks are dope. So you are playing a Commodore for one of these things. You make your character, and instantly within the first 30 minutes of play, you are betrayed mysteriously by the state that you work for. You and your crew are sent to the winds.
Mysteriously?
What?
The state.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You don't know. Yeah, but you were an agent of the state, so why have they turned on you?
Right.
You had been working for whatever this empire is, and so you go off.
Lost your use, basically.
Yeah,
right?
I get. Like, I don't know. It's probably because of the eponymous Horizons Gate is my guess. There's probably some sort of mysterious magical bullshit going on. So you go out into the world. You escape. You have like a tiny ship. You end up recruiting a few crew members. You kind of have one story crew member, and then the rest seem to be proc gen, I think. Except that I showed up in a town, and one guy was like, "Oh yeah, this is my hometown. Let me when we go to the cafe, I'll tell you what to get. I'll tell you like we'll talk about the local delicacy or whatever." And it came across. I couldn't tell you if that was a script. It was scripted, obviously, but I couldn't tell you if that character had been procedurally generated or if the world is just preceded with a bunch of like characters that you can recruit for $10 at every inn in the world.
Wow.
At the point at which you kind of step out into the world after kind of fighting your way through the betrayal, which I guess I'll say is like a top-down, again, Final Fantasy Tactics style or Divinity Original Sin style tile-based tactical RPG. You get on a boat, and there's just a huge world map, and the game really opens up into the situation where you could theoretically be playing this game like Elite or something, where you're just like a ship trader. You're just going from port to port, selling whatever the trade goods are. It's a very simple system in a lot of ways. Like the trade goods, like as far as I can tell, each of the towns I've been to has a trade specialty, right? And you're trading any distance you travel with it, it goes up in value. There's not like an intense like economic sim happening here. It is 100% a make the numbers go up game, but in a way that is really pleasing. You can also take jobs from each of these towns that are spread across this huge map. When you do that, some of them are simple, like go find the cult that has set up shop inside of our local mine, kill them, come out, get your money, blah blah blah. But there's other ways that I found to make money that I think begin to speak to like the joy of the game and the kind of particularity, and the reason why I say that this is like but one of the reasons why this feels like outsider art to me is that one of the distinct features of outsider art is that it tends to have ideas in it that mainstream aesthetics and mainstream craft sense says is impossible or not worth the effort or is a waste of your time. Often these things are rendered in ways that are not particularly efficient because the person making the work does not know the efficient way because they haven't been trained through particular schools. In this case, one of the systems here is if you hit the L key, you can look at anything in the game. As if it were a text adventure, right? When I say look at anything, I mean literally your mouse cursor becomes a magnifying glass, and just about everything has a description. A big rope on a boat that is, you could look at it and be like, that rope is really big. 3 sentences that amount to basically, yeah, that's a really big rope. It's probably too big for you to carry around with you. And also, what would you even do with it? Planks of wood, forks on people's tables have descriptions. And I'm building to something here. Obviously, bigger things like if you go to one of the capitals of one of the other 3 countries in the world, you'll look at monuments to the god king who rules one of them, and that will get added to your in-game encyclopedia. You'll look at paintings that are hanging in various taverns and coffee shops. Those get added, and then at one point, I came into a trade into a port and found someone whose house had the magnifying glass icon next to it because it has all that sort of JRPG iconography is just out in the open as if that's the way the world works. I go into the magnifying glass shop and it's a dude there who's like, "Yeah, I'm a researcher. Tell me about the world. Tell me what you've noticed." And he paid me for everything I'd looked at and studied and added to my encyclopedia. And I've now I have a contract with this guy. I can't use other researchers without breaking my contract and paying a fee to this guy, which I did do that because I wanted to do research for the Empire. I ended up joining instead of this one. And this is the sort of game that it is in terms of this weird, intense focus on detail. And on top of all of that, I had one of the most nail-biting fights against spiders that I've ever had in a video game that has spiders in it last night, because the fundamental tactical system is really fun and complex, but and also is willing to be really challenging in a way that enables you to make really clever plays. There are 30 classes in this game, most of which you unlock by finding a teacher somewhere in the world and paying them a couple hundred gold to unlock that class potential for you. There are 3 main trees. There's a rogue tree, a warrior tree, and a magic tree, but each of the later classes has a system where you have to have either mastered or at least unlocked and put some points into, I think, one of the previous ones. So if I'm taking a quick look here, yeah, it's like 30 of these things, I think. Everyone starts as a sailor, but by the end you're doing, you're a warp blade or whatever the fuck. It's truly fantasy JRPG shit, an unmaker, and all of that stuff comes together. Yeah, well,
according to their setting, because not one elf, orc, or goblin.
That's true. Not one elf, orc, or goblin in sight in this game. The stuff that works for me tactically, and this is the stuff that Rob, I want you to play this game. Also, I didn't even talk about there absolutely is a tactical level of, and you can see this in the fan trailer I linked. There is a boat combat tactics game, and then separately you could like board enemy ships. You can obviously make landfall and like go and into caves and dungeons and stuff.
This
But
feels like the definition of scope creep.
it 100% is,
Right?
but like I think two things happened here. One is this person has made versions of this game twice before. They've been making
Right.
it since 2014, and so like their tactical combat model has been honed for 6 years.
Yeah.
Right. If you go back and look at the name of the developer, the name of the studio is Rad Codex. I looked up the name of the person because I believe it is a single person developed game, but I forget the name of the actual person. I feel bad that I don't remember, but there it is. There they are. Sean Hayden, who also developed Voidspire Tactics and Alvora Tactics before this. The stuff that ends up working in that tactical model for me is a lot of the stuff that ended up working with something like Into the Breach, or again stuff with what did I say? Divinity: Original Sin, where it's about the space feeling important to the fight and not just like backdrop. There's a lot of how can I line people up here? You know, the first class that everyone starts with a move to push people, starts with a move to pull people. And that immediately should tell you that that is the type of game that is being that you're playing here to some degree. And so there's been a number of moments where like the only way I was able to win was I had one character use a rope to literally pull someone into line with another NPC, another enemy, so that my wizard could do like a lightning strike through all three of them at once. Or another situation where this is a game that has casting times. So I've definitely had a moment where I was casting like an AoE attack and the enemies went, and foolishly I didn't realize, I hadn't looked at where it was going to tell me that the spell would go off or like when it would go off. The enemies moved out of the way of that, but then I had someone charge over and push one of the enemies back into the AoE so they would get hit by that. And then it has all of the Divinity: Original Sin stuff around like interactions between, you know, if you are wet, you take more electricity damage, all of that stuff. And all that stuff layers on top of an open world in such a way that you end up feeling like, all right, I'm rolling into this new place. What's going on here? Okay, I'm climbing this mountain. Oh shit, there are like crab people pirates up here, but they have all these barrels of water. I can blow up the barrels of water, cover them with the water, and then electrocute them. We're good. And that feeling ends up really meshing really well into something that I think has been like a huge, huge, huge surprise for me. And also has just been salve after finishing a big game like Final Fantasy VII. It's been very fun, a big, very, very, very hyper polished game. It's been so fun to go from that to this thing that is like, so, you know what, it'd be unfair for me to call Horizon's Gate rough or unpolished because it's very smooth. The interface stuff all works. Like I haven't crashed. It isn't like that style of unpolished, but it's aesthetically not built for the palette of the widest possible audience, which Final Fantasy VII Remake feels very, I really like that game. Also, it feels like Square, like triangulating on taste in a lot of ways, in terms of design and even in terms of gameplay, in terms of combat stuff. Whereas this feels like someone who wanted to make their favorite thing real, make like the version of a thing that they had in their head that they couldn't find in the world of video games. And like, let me just make it. Let me make Mount and Blade, but make it a JRPG, because that's the other big comparison here of like going around, collecting more crew, building more ships, like getting your armada together feels very much like Mount and Blade. Mount and Blade. Some people the other week thought I said Mountain Blade, like a mountain and a blade, but Mount and Blade. But that, except now you're on like a JRPG, or I guess a strategy RPG boat. So Horizon's Gate, right now it has 112 reviews, which to me means like, oh yeah, it's found a tiny audience, but it's found an audience. It's not found nothing. I so hope that in a month that is 1,000 reviews, you know, like that is the sort of thing.
Immediately. So it'll get one more review at least.
Good. Let's give it a shot. I think it's totally worth everyone's time because of how unique and like full of confidence it is that it can make this thing. Also, if you like old like SNES, Super Nintendo, like JRPG music, it has that vibe. So I guess it probably is more like a PS1 JRPG music vibe, but people should play it and check it out. Horizon's Gate. Last time I'll shout it out. All right, so that is the one tactics game we're allowed to talk about. Unfortunately, we can't talk about the other ones.
It
I
is
guess
actually illegal to talk about tactics games now.
it is. I guess we'll say that there was an XCOM game announced, which is weird.
Yeah.
And Rob, you haven't played that, right?
No, I was playing it this morning before the pod because I was like, maybe I can talk about it. I'll check right before pod, and then I was like, this doesn't look good for talking about.
It does not. The system, the embargo system and the NDA system for 2K games is bananas. It's very much like there's like a whole. We don't have to get this. Is extremely inside baseball.
No.
Just know,
but it is industry worst, like industry
it's
worst.
unbelievable.
And has been for years. Like, this is actually improved. So now all you have to do is allow 2K's system to tap directly into your various gaming accounts and be linked to that, which I feel super good about. It's not like my Steam account is particularly valuable after 15 years or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just getting everyone in the right headspace for contact tracking, just being followed everywhere.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
But this is actually an improvement over 2K's old system, which was, okay, you want preview code? All right, wise ass. Here's a Steam burner account. It's only got this one game on it.
What?
Here, sign into the Steam into this burner account. It's going to shut down it, like really restrictive stuff. And yeah, so 2K previews have always been kind of like for years have sort of been in a place where there's so many other things you could look at in the meantime. in the time, like I got Gears Tactics code today, earlier this week, and they're like, so you want, just log into Steam, use this code. It runs. Didn't even need to use a beta branch. I was like,
wow,
okay.
really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's also the other thing that happens a lot for people who don't know is when you get a Steam code from a publisher, they often will also then send you a second code that you have to go in and activate inside of the preferences, the options.
Especially a lot of times because the code's going to give you access to what people have pre-orders have access to.
Right.
So
which
you
is
need
nothing.
to be able to, so you log into the beta for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we can't talk about those games, unfortunately. But there was a new XCOM game announced.
Chimera Squad.
Is it Chimera Squad or is it just Chimera? Is it Chimera Squad? It is.
It's Chimera Squad. I just
Chimera
saw
Squad.
it on Steam while I was buying Horizon's Gate, and it is Chimera Squad, and that is the funniest thing I've heard today.
It's a very funny name.
Gang, Chimera Squad.
Chimera Squad was good.
XCOM are cops now.
XCOM are cops now.
XCOM are cops, yeah.
We can't talk about this game until we can talk about this game. Is how I feel.
I'm
gonna bite them. Because I have so many things to say about it. We can't even go down this road because if we start to, I will reveal what I think based on the ways in which I tackle even talking about the premise, and I will reveal how I think that they executed on the premise if I even talk about the premise for any longer. So we have to move on, but that's out there. Know that we will talk about that in the coming weeks, presumably. All I want to do,
week, right? Because it comes out next week.
Yeah, April 24th,
Yeah.
right? Yes,
Soon,
April
soon.
24th. So next Friday we can talk about this fucking game. Thank God.
And then early the week after that, Gears Tactics.
All right, which
Tactics.
likewise, I'm curious.
A little
I have
tactics
not. So
moment.
I have not played that. So in some ways, I'm pure, and I can say I looked at some of the previews of that. That looked like it could be okay. That's all. That's all I'll say. Good, okay, not bad, okay. Anyone else playing anything that they can talk about? Please, God.
Well, I'm playing The Sims again, and I'm doing a really
Hell
dumb
yeah.
thing.
How
I'm
you
doing
doing?
a dumb thing, which is 2 weeks ago, I think, I had an idea because I was out of ideas for articles, which was, what if I just added everyone from the Vice Tech desk into a game of The Sims? And Samantha Cole was immediately like, yes, do this, please. Do it immediately. And then I forgot about it. And then yesterday we had a meeting about writing blogs that are fun and funny. And I was like, what if I just added everybody from the tech desk into a house in The Sims? And only 4 people have volunteered. Emily, Jason, Emmanuel, and I'm in there also.
Right.
But the thing about making Sims of other people is when I'm very, very, very good at it, I will
Okay.
show you my example of my Jason Sim, which you've all met Jason. You all know what
yeah.
he looks like.
Oh yeah.
Wait, which Jason?
Kobler.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that's actually how you say his name, but
I would say Kebler, but I don't know if that's true either.
He definitely likes Keebler.
Jason
He's
does,
been
he
really
loves.
specific.
He likes it when you say Keebler.
Yeah.
Oh,
'cause
wow,
it's-
you made
it's the
Jason.
proper
That's
pronunciation.
That's Jason.
fucking Jason, man.
Wow, you made
That's
You
fucking
Jason.
even,
Jason.
you even
It's
got his
really-
glasses right.
I know. They didn't have the hat, but I just picked one that I wasn't the worst looking hat of all the
Yeah,
hats I
of
had.
course, of course.
So and
It's
like
weird
had
they
some
didn't
blue
have
color
that
in it.
hat. They
See,
are there
is
no
that
snapbacks?
Jason? Is that Jason? That guy on the Sim version looks way more likely to be selling me weed.
That's the
Have
hat
you-
difference. That's just the hat
I
difference.
can't.
it's just
I'm
the
not
hat.
going to
That's all
say
that's-
too much about my boss because our other boss, Emmanuel, does listen to the podcast. But I know Jason doesn't, and all I'll say is he's a nice man. He looks like he
And
looks
what-
more. One
And
time in
it
my
seems like he'd be a good hookup.
final interview for this job, I will say that Jason was wearing a velvet scrunchie, and I just looked at it
A velvet
the entire
what?
time he was
Scrunchie.
a velvet
I thought you
scrunchie
said
in his hair.
spreadsheet.
He's wearing a velvet spreadsheet. God.
Printed just
That's
on
Rob's
crushed
Ma-
velvet.
idea of
Management's a way of
heaven now.
life with me.
Yeah.
neck deep. It's so
God.
luxurious. Sorry.
Unbelievable.
We are neck deep in pandemics, and all Rob can think about is velvet and spreadsheets. You know, I respect it. So I'm going to be doing
Sadly,
Emily next.
scissoring the freelance budget part off,
Yeah,
off my
yeah.
velvet spreadsheet.
Uh-huh. Yeah, velvet
my
spreadsheet, iron scissors, iron cuts, you know?
Oh my god, yes. Woof! Oh man,
God.
that's a great new anime
Yeah.
about magical tailors.
Ooh, good.
Right? So like
Yeah.
the problem with making Sims of other people is also you have to add traits to Sims and give them an aspiration.
Right.
So I asked people to give me their traits, and the thing about the editor-in-chief of Motherboard, Jason Kebler, who knows?
Who knows?
no one
Just
knows.
Jason. He's nice.
Jason,
He's a nice
yeah.
boy with
Jason
a
K.
nice dog named Mango. Is that his traits were so surprising. I asked people to give me their traits because I didn't want to give them traits that I thought were unflattering. Like I wanted them to be like an actual expression of your personality. Traits are what direct Sims autonomous like actions when you're not controlling them. And I feel like I'm going to try to mostly take the Sims' lead in this house when I finally build it and like try to see what naturally they get whims to do. Okay, so let's explain the systems of the Sims 4 a little bit.
Mhm.
Sims will automatically get whims, and whims are optional things that you can do, but they give you a bit of a sort of focus. And if you don't really know where to start with your Sim, like if their needs are already up all the way and you don't know exactly what skills to build out, maybe a Sim will get a whim to buy a chess table, and then you buy the chess
Yes.
table, and then they get a whim to play chess. And then you're raising their logic skill. It just guides you into engaging with the systems of the game.
Right.
So the whims are also often, they'll tell you where they come from. So if your Sim has just gotten like a pay raise, sometimes they'll get a whim to have at least a 1x1 pool. And that'll be, if you mouse over that whim, you'll say this is inspired by the Sim just getting a pay raise.
Sure.
So I wanted the Sims in this house to have their whims come from their traits, because traits can also sometimes give people whims. So very surprisingly, though, Jason gave me traits from the Island Living expansion, which I was not expecting.
Wait, what traits did Jason give himself?
He's child of the ocean, and he's got the beach life aspiration. It's
Why does he live
amazing.
in
That
New York
tracks.
City?
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the
He's got
big question.
beaches.
Why did any of us live in
Does
New
it
York
though?
City?
Nowhere has beaches anymore, Rob. Beaches
Wait,
are closed.
What about like
Oh,
Sheepshead Bay?
boy.
There are
let me
beaches
just-
in New York. It depends
Are
on what
there-
he's trying to do at
Are
the
there,
beach.
though?
I know people who surf. You know,
Yeah.
you could go out to Long Island, but like you can
What
do
about
it.
Coney Island? Hell yeah.
Jesus
There's
Christ.
the topless beach way out there is really nice. The one that's also the lesbian beach.
Congrats
You
to
know-
that place. That place sounds like it's having
Is
a
there
good day.
anywhere? Is there anywhere where the water isn't horribly polluted?
Sorry, it's Atlantic. We're in the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know
Hold
what
on,
you want from us.
lived off the Atlantic. Fucking Florida beaches somehow managed to be much cleaner than New York beaches.
Also, just like New Yorkers don't give a shit, and
Yeah.
New Englanders in general are just accustomed to pain. So like, you're asking like it's the wrong kind of people,
Yeah.
really. Jason's
Mhm.
other traits that he asked for are cheerful and goofball, which I think are very accurate.
So that's good. Yeah, I agree with
But
this.
Child of the Ocean. I want to show you specifically what Child of
When
the
I
Ocean.
think when I think of Jason, I think of cheerful child of the ocean.
Goofy, cheerful child of the ocean also cares deeply about right to repair.
Yeah, he really,
A
really
lot.
does. So, so Child of the Ocean, answer the call of the ocean. Sims with this trait will prefer water-related activities and feel closer to denizens of the sea. These Sims become sad while fishing and uncomfortable while eating fish. These Sims prefer water-related activities such as swimming, scuba diving, snorkeling, and boating.
Does this mean is Jason Aquaman?
Yeah.
I would
He's
have
Tom
thought.
Hanks in Splash.
Oh,
I
I think he's
go
Matthew.
and make
He's
him a
definitely not
mermaid
Matthew
now.
McConaughey in Serenity because he
Right.
fished. He fished all the
fish
time.
was the whole.
But-
He didn't. He was not a cheerful child of the ocean.
No, he wanted to be though. You know, in the second version of Serenity, he would become that. People should go listen to our Serenity spoiler cast. No, it is not a spoiler cast of the Firefly film Serenity. It is a spoiler cast of Serenity, the 2019 Matthew McConaughey vehicle.
What is time?
Over on Be Good and rewatch it.
Everybody has told me that movie is bonkers. Bingo
Gita,
bongo
please watch that movie. I'm
Oh
begging
my
you.
God.
bonkers.
Do you know the spoiler to that movie?
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
I constantly forget the spoiler, but I do know it. I did
Okay.
look it up. I did make Josh from Kotaku tell me it because
Okay.
I really just needed to know.
Yeah, fair.
So
wait, so then what are the whims that come along with Child of the Ocean?
well,
Is it like swimming? Is it
Yeah,
just like all day
they'll
he wants to go
swimming.
swimming?
He'll want to go scuba diving, snorkeling, boating, that kind of thing. They'll probably get like whims about going to the beach and stuff like that. I'm beginning to think that I might need to make Jason a mermaid, but I'm not sure yet. I think that might be a surprise whether or not I do that. Emmanuel, don't tell him. If you know you're listening to this podcast. I think, yeah, I'm thinking about it. I can also finally give Jason a bike because those are the things that I know about my boss is that he's really, really nice
He does
to me
have a
and
bike.
thinks I'm smart. He has a bike. He has a dog named Mango who's been being very bad recently.
He's into
apparently.
softball. We were on the softball
He's-
team.
Yeah,
Last,
it's true. He
He's a
does like play
softball.
softball.
He seems outdoorsy. This is the other thing. I would make incredible Sims of Kotaku people without even asking them because I spent 3 years just working with basically 8 people. And I don't quite know everyone at Vice yet, but Samantha Cole was the first person. Samantha Cole is the woman that's on the sex beat over at Motherboard. She did a incredible series of articles
Yeah,
about
very good work.
girls do porn and Pornhub's inability or unwillingness to remove those videos which depict sexual assault from their service. I really loved that investigation. She immediately wanted to be a sim, and I think she said she wanted to be a gloomy loner art person, and I'm excited for that.
That's a good mix. Are they in?
Yeah.
Is it going to be? Is there a Motherboard house?
There's going to be a Motherboard house.
Interesting.
You can have
good
8
mix.
Sims in a house. So yeah, loner, loves outdoors, and gloomy. Like this is the thing I really like about The Sims is that once you start building out characters, especially if you take control away from some aspect of building a character, you immediately begin to develop a story. So 2 members of this house so far are going to have traits that make them want to spend time outside of the house. Child of the Ocean and loves outdoors. So this house should probably be a smaller house with some kind of massive outdoor space. Maybe these people are into gardening, you know? Like
Right.
you begin to see what you want to give them in a house, what storytelling opportunities might naturally arise just based on the traits. I think that some Simmers have complained that traits in The Sims 4 don't give them as much personality as previous Sims games. I think Sims 3 is where traits first appeared. And you could have 5 traits, and traits would really, like, Sims had a lot of personality in that game, and I think that was maybe my favorite thing about that game is they felt like they really did do things distinctly. Here, traits, I think, do feel a little bit flat. they feel a little bit samey, but you can still use them as guideposts on how you want to tell a story, which in the end of the day, I think it's this push-pull in The Sims, right? You want some randomness because you want The Sims to feel real, because the best things that happen in The Sims happen when you're not looking and suddenly the stove is on fire, right? Like that's where drama comes from in The Sims. But you also want the Sims to just do what you fucking tell them to do, which sometimes is a struggle. When I had a Sim in The Sims 3 that one time just decided they didn't want to go to fucking school. Like, they just didn't go. I would keep making them go to school. I would press the go to school button, and he just didn't do. And I just made him mop the entire house that day because I was so mad at him. Because he just, like, he wouldn't go. He would not go. I don't know why he automatically canceled that request. It might have been a bug in the game, honestly. But when Sims are autonomous, they just become very irritating in that way.
Listen, sometimes you don't want to fucking go.
That's true. I've had that feeling a lot in the past month or so. I just don't want to fucking do anything. I just don't want to do anything. I had to scream at my therapist, basically, just like, I feel like shit all the time. And she was like, that's regular. That's how everyone feels. That's allowed for you. Yeah, I know that a lot of people think this kind of thing is creepy, like making real people in The Sims, and I had an ex-boyfriend told me not to make him in The Sims, but I do love creating little virtual versions of my friends and like having them to hang out, like, and just see how they bounce off each other. I know Austin, you used to play this game that I just found when I was trying to find my copy of Bravely Default in my 3DS. The Tomodachi Life.
Oh yeah.
Oh
well, I less played it so much as did the thing that you're doing, which is I let myself live in my friends' Tomodachi lives and then spectated as much as possible. Maybe I did. I think maybe I did play it. God, I watched so much of other people playing it with me in it that I don't remember if I played it or not, which is saying something.
Yeah, I remember a lot of that. I feel like I played that game before I got it, right? Like, I feel like I was looking up different versions of people in Tomodachi Life singing, like, weird songs.
Right,
I
forgot about that stuff.
Remember,
remember Tomodachi Life?
Man, that game rules. I should whip that out, except my other ex-boyfriend is in that version of Tomodachi Life. But I think I was married to... I can get rid of him. I was married to my version of Rami Malek, so that's fine. Yeah.
They should make another one of those and make it less homophobic.
They should, though.
But they should make another one of those. They could do both of those things.
Yeah.
They should absolutely do that, because it was, I mean, it's a toy more so than a game, I think.
I don't want to get into the we did such a big semantics conversation on a Monday's pod about something else. I don't want to fall into semantics. What I do know is
they're fun.
Yeah.
We could do it again.
It's true. We could. I think Tomodachi Life deserves a second go around with, especially I think a lot of the stuff that you see in Animal Crossing, like communities popping up, would suggest that Tomodachi Life would also get some wild shit, in terms of the way the fan base like adopts it. I bet that would be really, really sick.
Again, Tomodachi Life is another Nintendo game, and their sort of area of design philosophy where they just try to obscure as much of how the game works as possible to you.
Mm-hmm.
So you can figure out why things occur, or like why people love or hate certain foods and stuff like that. I'm sure data miners have discovered every single like algorithmic way this game works. But part of the magic is that it's supposed to surprise you. It's supposed to make you feel delight. Animal Crossing, I think, is the other big example of that sort of Nintendo design philosophy, where the point is the surprise. The point is that it's obscure and esoteric.
Totally.
I feel like that this is something I've been noticing in Animal Crossing fandom too, though, is that runs counter to like a lot of the Western gamer mindset, where the idea is that you unravel every single aspect of the thing. Yeah.
My bells are at 51.
Yeah, I just had to sell him. Went up to 176, and like
I'm committed. I'm gonna find. I believe in the heart of the bells. I'm gonna sell these turnips for over 500 in the next 36 hours. It's gonna happen.
You know what? I believe in you.
We're recording this on
believe-
Thursday. I'm not going to make a mistake and try to sell them on Sunday. I know that the terms end on Saturday night. I know. We're good. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
You're just trusting in the invisible hand of the stock market.
I'm trusting in my ability to find a friend or a random person on the internet with a good
Yeah.
rate.
Yeah.
That's all.
what they don't tell you about the invisible hand of the market, buddy. you know?
You're right.
Any-
It's not invisible. It's all backroom deals. It's
I was
all
gonna
you
say
know.
it's just obscured.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
it's not
obscured
invisible.
hand
It's
of the
just
market.
obscured. Yeah.
One time when I was in high school, my friend was like, "Yo, check out the Wikipedia page for the invisible hand of the market," and someone had gone and just vandalated it, so it just always, every time it said invisible hand of the market, it said invisible unicorn of the market instead.
God. What else? What else is going on? So
I
Well,
I talk a lot. Always.
no, you're good.
Thank you. But I do want to mention one more thing quickly, because I know that by the time you're listening to this episode, the finale will have aired. But I've been watching the Alex Garland show, Devs.
Oh,
And
how is that?
I fucking rules. I know this is not a video game, but it's like slightly related. So the premise of the show is that there's a woman, Lily, whose boyfriend Sergey works for a tech company called Amaya, which is run by this guy Forrest, who is played by Ron Swanson, Nick Offerman. That's his name.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Offerman delivering a truly masterclass performance. He's actually a really wonderful actor. And Allison Pill is also his like creepy right-hand woman. So Sergey gets into a program at Amaya called Devs. He is there for one day. He sees something in the code that utterly terrifies him and throws up in the bathroom. And then Allison Pill and Nick Offerman have him murdered for stealing code. Lily doesn't know that this happens, but she's like, my boyfriend disappeared after working at Devs for one day. What's going on? And she goes off in pursuit of what happened to him. It turns out the show is actually about just whether or not we have free will and like the concept of determinism. I don't want to ruin the thing that they have in Devs too much, but it is related to whether or not the universe is deterministic, and like that is the question that we're barreling into in the finale. I absolutely fucking love this show, and I think everyone, if you have an interest in the sort of questions that this show is asking, you should absolutely check it out. It's got some really, really good performances from some really unusual actors as well. One of the developers in Devs, hang on, is what's his name? I should look up people's names before I do this.
No, we do this all the time. This happens.
Yeah, this is how we do.
This is podcasts, right?
This is
what
podcast.
This is podcast.
the baby. Now that's podcasting.
I thought you were saying the name of the person. I thought you were like, their name is Baby, which is not the case.
Let's see. Wonderful actor Jin Ha, who's also in it. Let's see. Stephen McKinley Henderson plays a programmer in Devs. You know who this guy is. He's just fucking incredible, and he just plays
This guy. Yeah.
like an elderly black
this
man.
guy.
He's really is like it plays like an elderly black programmer who is like a very much like a San Francisco type of guy who like is rich, works in a developer, and is rich, but lives in like a trailer under a bridge because he prefers it that way, because he is able to prefer it that way because he already has lots of money, but nonetheless like understands he is complicit in a system that devastates like a lot of and like changes the world without the permission of the citizens of the world on a regular basis. So I really like that. They have this genderqueer character, Lyndon, who ended up being one of the more fascinating characters in the show. Allison Pill has really cornered the market on creepy super genius, I have to say. And I'll just as well as that, like, the music just slaps in every fucking episode.
Hell yeah.
On the first episode, they play Congregation by Low, which has just become one of my favorite songs to listen to right now. It's such a beautiful, meditative, like, not quite a dirge, but just like something you can drift away on. The whole show has that quality of being slightly outside of reality, where you get to disengage from the drama that's happening in your life and into this fantastical world that, while it is reflective of our own world, is just slightly different. I've just described the concept of magical realism.
How do you think it how do you think it stands up next to Garland's previous like film work?
I think he should do TV more.
Really? You
honestly.
actually like this more than Ex Machina or Annihilation then, in terms of just like
I think Annihilation is his best movie.
Okay.
I think Ex Machina is really good. But what this does is, you know how people were like really like, oh my god, there's such a funny dance scene in the middle of Ex Machina. That's so weird.
Mhm.
In Devs, there's so much of that, just like very awkward human interactions. There's a very good scene with this character, Jamie, who is Lily's ex. And Jamie is just sitting in this apartment playing Dark Souls silently. And they've established Jamie as a guy who never got over Lily when they broke up and is like kind of pathetic. There's this very funny joke scene where he meticulously cleans his apartment for a full minute of screen time. And then when he closes the door, he slams it too hard and his like collection of antique teacups falls on the floor and shatters. And like that is just what his life is like.
No.
So he's sitting there playing Dark Souls and he just dies. And there's this moment where there's just like one beat and he looks at the screen as it says you died and he just says, I died. And it's so funny. Like in that moment, Lily like breaks in through the window, which is just perfect.
Great.
There's nobody, part of the thing of the show seems to be saying is that no one that works in tech knows how to talk like a human being, which is very, very funny to me. It delights in sort of putting the people that work in tech next to people that actually live in the world and showing how far the disconnect is between what you think about when you live in the tech world and you only think about tech stuff and you like only think about Silicon Valley day in, day out, and what's it like to just be a human being and like what that does to you, how it fucks up your brain. It's worth it, I think, for some of the performances alone. I think by being in a television show format, Garland gets a chance to luxuriate in these human interactions in a way that his movies don't really allow him to, where you get a lot of slow, quiet scenes of Lily and Jamie just talking about what the hell they should do, where you learn a lot about the characters and what their motivations are through those conversations. And you know, it goes out of its way to throw characters at each other that wouldn't interact normally, create like heightened situations where you get to have deep philosophical conversations. Jamie and Forrest have this incredible conversation in the back half of the show, and I never thought those two characters would meet. I really admire it because it allows him to just go maximalist. He doesn't have to cut anything. He gets to have every little weird, elegant side plot fully develop and then wrap up. It's amazing because a lot of the time I think when film people go to TV, they end up doing one too many things. But this is like the perfect amount of television for an 8-episode television show. I feel I'm ready for the finale, and I don't think anything needs to be tied up except for the one big thing that they're going to tie up, and I'm very excited.
And that wraps up like today, right?
Wraps up today.
Or like today as recording.
Yeah, today we're recording. So if you're listening to this, all 8 episodes are out, and the weekend's about to start. So have fun.
So have fun. It's on Hulu and FX.
Yeah, Hulu and FX. I want to live in the alternate universe where this show ended up being like a smash hit. It came out right as soon as people were quarantining. And I think if we had not gone into quarantine, the questions that this show asks would have been more easily to think about. I still think that the question of whether we live in a deterministic universe, whether or not we have free will, like what defines free will, what defines randomness, like why do we live in the world that we live in, is like still a very interesting question to ask philosophically. But it's
that didn't
just like
stop
a little bit
becoming
hard.
interesting,
Yeah,
like because we're stuck inside. But
it's just a little bit harder to think about that when I also am thinking about how I just want to run down the block screaming every day.
sure, fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Before we wrap up, Cado, is there anything you wanna shout out here?
Yeah, I can shout out this small this game I've played called In Other Waters.
That has like a really, really, really sharp look, and I
it-
keep meaning to take a look at it. And,
yeah,
and
it's
haven't yet.
aesthetics through the roof. And it's very calm. It's weirdly calming aesthetics, even though what you are. So what it is Essentially, I would call it's like in the visual novel space, because what it is that you have this kind of UI where you're um in you are like supposedly an AI in like a deep diving suit in like the future, and you
Okay.
get turned on, and the person who turned you on is like talking to you, and that's the only kind of dialogue that there is this person kind of interacting with you as the suit.
Okay.
And what you do is you can you like move around this like topographical map of like underwater. And it's very simple, just like topographical map and then like symbols that mean like this symbol is like a geographical, there's like a little triangle that means there's a geographical or a geological like feature there that you can click on, and then you can move to that feature.
Does the map,
um
the thing that you're exploring is like almost like a simple 2 or 3 color like radar scope or like sonar map
kind
of
of, yeah.
underwater basically?
Yeah, it's got the like elevation like lines. If you've ever seen those, like that's
Mhm.
the kind of like simple line kind of space that you're looking at. And this UI is basically just showing you different meters. Like you have oxygen and battery meters, but none of this has really come into play as much as like has been aesthetic so
Okay.
far. It's more about kind of this person finding the suit on what is the first world with extraterrestrial life.
Oh, interesting.
And apparently the person who owned the suit before had sent out a signal being like, hey, come here, but like that person's missing. I'm only like 30 minutes into the game, but so far I think I've actually clicked on everything in this UI. So I think I've had all of the possible interactions within this at least, and it's mostly like you see the person in the suit is taking this very interesting kind of view of the animals and flora and fauna underwater, where they seem unafraid of anything. It's like, oh,
Huh.
go take a sample of that thing, and nothing has like attacked yet. It's been fine, but it's
But
kind
you're
of
talking about
like,
like alien sharks and
yeah, and it's just
you're
like,
chill with them.
whoa, you're really gonna like there's like this weird giant alien like coral stalk that's moving, and you think getting close to it without being cautious is fine. I don't know. It's
Mhm.
just like a very interesting kind of viewpoint, but you end up taking samples of things, and those items do refill your oxygen. But given the way that it's kind of playing out as far as what your choices are for movement so far, it doesn't feel like any of that is actually. It feels like narrative matter and not mechanical in like a way where you're gonna have to like deal with um actually keeping an eye on those like your oxygen and battery and stuff.
Right. It's not like a
um
resource management game or like there's no crafting, there's no
right.
there's no inventory of items outside of
Well, the samples that you get of
information.
things
Okay.
are definitely are like these items. But part of it's just like feels like the way that it gives you these things, even like after like there's like a very obvious tutorial section, but then after that like it keeps giving you these things in a way where I feel like I haven't hit any conflict that way of like having to
Right.
actually worry about those things. And it feels more like this is a kind of look at exploration and science in a weird way, that like although like collecting those samples and refilling it is more like narrative, like things to chew on narratively than to
Yeah.
be like that's not the play here. The play here is like you're this AI and you can respond to this person in only yes and no,
Mm,
and through kind of small choices of like you have like a left or a right y crossing basically, you can go one way or the other. Things like that are the only ways
mhm.
you like respond. So that's kind of interesting. And then of course the story of like where did the person who sent out the original um like distress signal go, and all of that is kind of more the driving force of this so far. um
Gotcha.
but yeah, it's very very slow, and very kind of the way that you move is so like it's like 5 different clicks of like doing a scan, choosing a thing after that scan, setting your vector to that scan, and then hitting go to walk along this vector. And the soundtrack and the visuals and the UI is also super like meditative, where you just kind of get into a zone, and then like it kind of like the only thing that breaks you out is this occasional dialogue, which makes the like speaking stand out in a way, because you like kind of forget that there's a person there, but like you're the one doing
Right.
all the movements. It's like it's weird. It's like they're locked out of the control, so they have to talk to the AI in order to get it to do anything. And the instructions early on are just like go north. Like I need to go north. That's where the base is. And so you just have to make your way around. But then they'll like
Can you
perk
be
up
like,
again.
no? Can you just like go south instead?
Yeah,
Or is it
absolutely. And I did for a while.
Wait, so that means could you burn through all your oxygen in a situation like that?
I don't think so, because I eventually hit a wall. That's
Okay.
kind of the way this feels like. It's like there are like choices that will eventually lead down to the same path, but like I think I got some side information as far as like there were other there's like a new type of reef stock that the person like commented on, and like that stuff hasn't wrapped back around narratively yet, but like I'm very early on, so it definitely feels like I haven't reached a choice that has been so like that like I don't know what was down the other path yet. You know, it's usually like
Yeah,
something circles
gotcha.
back around, or like there's a dead end, you have to backtrack. So it's like it's so calming though, in the very real like meditative way, which I think is good for these times.
Yeah,
So I'm
definitely.
definitely gonna dip in and just like, you know, I'm curious as to where that story, that narrative goes, but yeah, I'll definitely check back in on like where this is all headed. But yeah, the aesthetic.
Yeah, let
is
me know.
great.
It has been on my list of things to check out. I know it's on. Is it already on Switch, or is it just still coming to Switch?
I think it might just be coming to Switch still. Let me double.
Because you were
check.
playing it on PC, right?
Yes, I'm on PC. Got it on Steam.
It feels extremely like a good
In
before
other
bed.
waters. Absolutely.
Actually, it came out.
Yes.
It came out on Switch. It's out on Switch.
Okay, nice. Yes.
So it feels like a good like before bed, chill out. You know,
Yeah.
explore the ocean depths, which
Yeah.
maybe is not so chilling out for some people.
It's just like it doesn't even feel like ocean depths to a certain degree. It's just like blue niceness. Because like, yeah, I had the
Love a
same
nice
thought
blue
too. It's
niceness.
like whenever I was like, oh, I don't want to deal with possibly drowning. That's always terrifying. But it's
Yeah.
like such a like side thing. Like that oxygen gauge hasn't gotten low yet. So like I'll let you know if that ever goes into the horror way. But something about the aesthetic at the beginning feels like it's not what this game is gonna be about.
Okay.
I'll get back to you if it makes a fucking turn, but I don't think it will.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that said, that's going to do it for us this week. I hope everyone has a good weekend, all said. As always, try to stay safe out there. You can follow everything we do, twitter.com/waypoint, waypoint.vice.com. You can send questions to gaming@vice.com. I planned on reading some of your questions today, unfortunately, because of the way being a contracted employee at a media company works. Every 3 months or so, you briefly lose access to your email while they have to rush to renew your contract. So it's fine. Everything's fine. Just to be clear, everything's fine. Just I'm in that blip where I don't have access to my email today, so that's good. So also, if you emailed me today and you didn't get a response or it bounced back, that is why it bounced back. Everything else is totally fine. Don't worry about it. As always, you can find me on Twitter at Austin_Walker. Where can people find you, Cado?
At @A_Cado_appears.
And you, Gita.
At XOXO Gossip Gita.
Thank you so much for joining us. As always, shout outs to Bowen for letting us use the track Miss You off the EP Pale Machine. Find out more about that at waypoint.zone/BOEN. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to send them out on. I guess that's it. I don't have anything else to shout out. I hope everyone stays safe.
What are
As
your
always,
turnip prices?
I haven't checked my turnip prices, Cado. I'll link. It's going to be bad. It's going to be like 61.
Damn.
It's trash. My turnip prices are going to be trash, okay?
I'm so sorry.
Hit us up if you have good... Do not hit us up if you have good turnip prices. Actually, kombucha.gif.
People have really come through so much with the good cat picks that, like, honestly, hits up got good turnip prices.
Oh, I thought you were going the other way. I thought you were saying like people who sent us good cat picks means that the listeners have already paid their due, have already shown us adequate affection. They don't
What
need to
I
also
have learned is like you can't stop people from doing like nice shit. Like it really you can try. You can really try. You can tell them, please, like I get enough kindness in the world, and like I'm really doing okay. And, like I don't got to do it. They will insist on doing nice shit for you.
It's weird because like I would feel better if I could obviously you tip your people who have good turnip prices and are letting you come through and sell. But I wish it was just automatic. I wish it was a thing where it was like, hey, if you have a lot of people who sell stuff to your town, then you get to upgrade your shop quicker or something. You know what I mean? That would be, I would feel better about taking advantage of people who are offering me their good turnip prices if I knew they were like getting like something on in the deal and not just like wasting their time for me. You know? It's just, listen, I got that Catholic school guilt. I'm never going to get rid of it. Everything is going to be about my personal failure. So it is what it is. And with that deep in mind, fuck capitalism, go home, peace.
So should we just restart this podcast?
Yeah, what are we doing? I mean, all this is after. I mean, some of this stuff will go after, obviously.
I think a little bit of this. Gita has not responded.
Okay.
No, that doesn't. Nothing about this bodes well.
No, I still have the backup, so I can do the edit the way I did last time.
Yeah,
But we should.
How about this? How about I throw to a break, and then I say, and then we start up again, and then we'll see. We'll give it 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I can start up again, and we can just do the back half of this podcast.
Take an actual break
if we have to. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
Let me turn my fucking Audacity.
I had this moment where I thought I figured out a solution that was good, which was just like, oh, what if my monitor has USB ports? That's a thing that No. I spent like 5 minutes trying to get this thing plugged into what I thought was a USB port, but was an HDMI cable port. Of course it was.
Sometimes they do have USB ports, and sometimes keyboards have USB
I like
ports.
Totally. Neither of mine do.
Yeah.
What?
I like your attempt to include Mina in this shot.
Well, hold on. Does this thing have a hinge? It's actually...
What I'm going to end up doing is moving you over there. That way I can look at you like this, and that'll help at least a little bit.
Nice.
I'm realizing rapidly that I need a second monitor at home, and I just don't have the fucking space for it.
You don't.
At all. I live in New York.
It's very useful, though.
It's very useful.
What if I get one that is like vertical? What if I just stack them on top?
Ultra wide.
Yeah.
Join me. Join the revolution.
Join the ultra wide revolution.
But it would be the only thing that fits in this space. Like it's just
That's
need
just
more
science.
screen.
There you go.
You do. You deserve it.
That's true.
Draft A open. Reference materials to the other tile.
I should turn myself down a little bit. Am I peeking out of? Whoa! Wait a second.
Yeah,
this quarantine is over. I'm gonna have a fucking gamer chair. I'm gonna be taking gamer fuel.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in it. I downloaded Warzone so I can play with the motherboard boys.
Oh my god.
I'm like becoming a real gamer, guy.
Finally.
That's great.
My Audacity hates that I plugged in this camera. 1 second.
Logi.
Check. There we go. Now we're good. Yeah, that is what this is. Why? Did it just say Logi? Oh, it says it in the bottom of my fucking thing?
Yeah.
How do I turn off the water stamp?
You
What?
have to go into the Logitech capture. Turn it off in there.
And they don't put that on.
Yeah.
Oh, but I hate the Logitech.
No source selected.
I also hate this thing. Was it just doing stuff?
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
swapped. It was like no source selected.
It was
That's
like
so
you
funny.
gracefully transitioned in a Twitch stream, but it was just your.
But it was just going to.
Yeah. See,
That's very
the
funny.
Logitech Capture is the app that this computer can't run because it is on an old OS.
Gotcha.
I love technology, man.
Isn't it
I
great? Love it. Love to have a
Fucking
computer.
rules.
Check this out. I can put a border on me.
Damn. Hit us with that.
Let me
Wow.
see
Now
one more
you're in a
time.
picture frame.
I'm in a picture frame now. Hey, check this out. Boom. What's good? It's
Damn.
Waypoint. That's
Shit.
kind of a Waypoint color.
It's aqua.
I could just drop the Waypoint color in here if I wanted to.
Oh, you can
I don't
pick
know
whatever
how to
color?
turn this off, and that's they let you
There's
pick
definitely
whatever
a
color.
watermark like tick box I remember seeing in the app because I use
Hello.
that.
Hi. Hello.
Fuck.
Hello. I'm like
freaking
this
out,
now.
man.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Tripping.
Yo.
I
Yo,
can do this.
it's Austin
Oh
in
god.
a grime music video from 2002.
Fucking-
Yeah. Oh, I wish I had a pocket. I wish I had a pocket Busta Rhymes. If I had a pocket Busta Rhymes, I would make this just go. Yeah, exactly. This is old timey, I guess.
Yeah, it's supposed
Why
to
are
be
there
like
these filters? These filters are terrible.
Those filters are fucking awful.
They're really
God.
bad. This one's the best one.
Yeah.
That
'cause
one
there's-
honestly
What is
rips.
this?
That one
Oh,
did
what's
do the
it?
None of them have
Right.
names. None of them have
Tokiwa
names.
Tomare.
Good, thank you. Turn off filter. Okay. I'm gonna move y'all over here. 1 second.
God, what if I did? I'm gonna look at ultra wide monitors. I actually was thinking about what I should do with my Trump bucks.
Oh, I got you. No, I got you.
Bucks.
Don't even
can't
Zach,
call
of
them
worry
course
real
you
about
do.
this shit. Here, let me pull up my. Let me pull up the document I created. It has a matrix.
I have like
A matrix?
$4,000 burning a hole in my pocket right now. If I don't buy one extravagant thing, I'm gonna go crazy and buy the stupidest shit. So, like, I think an ultra wide monitor is about as far as I can go. Plus, also, like, this monitor is just like a mediocre, like a 21-inch Acer. It's like fine, you know. I could use a better monitor.
Yeah, I'm using that same thing, the standard ass
Yeah, it was
Asus,
the
whatever.
Cheapest
They're all
on
the same.
Amazon.
I put my 32-inch TV as a monitor, which is
That is all. So I have a TV monitor as my second monitor.
That rocks.
my first. I can see too many of the pixels because I sit too close to it. So I think I'm gonna get like a 30-inch actual monitor with probably a higher resolution for computer
This is
use.
my like actual TV is just on my desk. I
Right.
have a gigantic old school desk and have a 40 whatever inch TV on this desk.
Damn.
So it's
that's
huge.
amazing.
It's very. The thing is, it does not like. So it's a 4K TV, but it does not like to be in 4K. I don't like to have it on 4K
Mhm.
on as my secondary monitor because it's just like everything is extremely tiny.
Small,
You can,
yeah.
obviously you can bring it up, but at that point, like, what am I doing? Though I will sometimes put it in 4K mode just to watch like 4K movies,
Right.
which is nice. But
That
or
does
like
sound
obviously when I
awesome.
play games, it goes into that mode. But it takes up so much space. If I didn't happen to have a gigantic desk already,
Right.
then it would be impossible.
Wait, what is this spreadsheet about? Is this about monitors?
Yeah.
It's a monitor spreadsheet.
That sounds like a
Where is
Rob
this?
thing to
Can you
me.
send this? I also need
Just
a
email it
monitor
me.
to
I'll
replace this
I'll
TV.
forward it to you. Let's see.
Thank you. Cause yeah, this TV is a little too big. Oh no.
You have to run the thing. You have to run the Logi. You
Uh-huh.
can't close.
Yeah.
Are you for real?
Mm-hmm.
What
I
year is it?
Wait,
Why does it say XSplit? Wait, what was that?
It's just it must be running through XSplit. It must have.
I think
This is
here's what the thing.
XSplit with.
Here's the thing I think
the
you can
fucking-
do. I think is you can close Logi, but I think what you have to do is change the camera input on Discord. Because it shows up as two different things. It's like the camera on its own and then Logitech Capture. Is
The
its own
camera on
thing.
its own was not working at all.
Yeah, see,
So.
that's the thing. That's what happened with mine. It's the same
Okay.
thing. It won't work on
Well,
its
I'm gonna
own.
Run Logi.
You just gotta
God
run.
bless that I spent too much money on this computer last year. Fucking nonsense. All right.
Build a PC, they said.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, build a PC, it's easy.
Have a
It's not-
computer. Just have a computer.
Things work, they work the way that you intend them to on the first time, and you don't have to find insane workarounds to get things to work the way that they're supposed to.
No.
Thank you so much, Robzacne, for the spreadsheet. I forwarded it to your Vice email, Cado.
Thank you.
There you go.
Um,
People helping people. I feel
So-
like I'm entering a new stage of quarantine where I'm gonna be very giddy and silly. I feel like that's around the corner for me and also for everyone, and I'm afraid of what's gonna happen.
Giddy. I would
Giddy.
love to get to Giddy.
Like last night I was like fondly reminiscing about how like the X-Men First Class, how good the internet was when that movie came out, because the fandom was really good and not obnoxious, but also just like everyone liked that movie, so the fandom's jokes became everyone's jokes, and the fanfic was all really good. I thought of this because for no reason I watched the X-Men Dark Phoenix movie. The canonical end of that series is Eric and Charles Xavier move in together. Charles bursts into tears when Eric Lyncher offers him to like play chess in the streets of Paris. It's the most romantic
That's
thing
very
I've
cute.
ever seen.
Good for that.
Wait, that's the end of Dark Phoenix?
That's the end of
Is
that
Dark
movie.
Phoenix? So wait, Dark Phoenix sucked, right?
It's
Is
not
it
good.
not?
It's very boring.
Mind you, Gita, I love the garbage. Like,
oh man,
like Wolverine Goes to Tokyo. I watched that shit. I was like, yeah.
I think you might enjoy
Awesome.
this one because there's Ansel Elgort is a pitch perfect Cyclops. Like he's exactly how I picture Cyclops to be in a way that no other actor has captured. In the way that he's a dweeb. He's like a
Yeah.
total dweeb. So the back half of the movie is Charles Xavier and Beast team up to kill Jean Grey because she accidentally murdered Mystique. So it's
Damn.
just like Mystique's two
Spoilers.
ex-boyfriends like turn up to murder a girl. And like Magneto is so dead set on killing a teenager. Like what? It's so funny. And just like at one point, Ansel Elgort, in like the most Cyclops tone of voice, it's hard to describe, but he just like with no leverage whatsoever, just barges up to Magneto like a young Republican, is like, if you touch Jean, I'll fucking kill you. And it's the only fuck that's said in that movie. And then he goes to Cyclops.
Wow.
It's perfect though. He would completely fly off the handle in that situation.
Damn.
Anyway, I deeply enjoyed it because I love X-Men. It's not good. It's interesting, especially how they tried to do the Shi'ar stuff, which like has never made sense and isn't good, so I don't know why they did it.
Wait, the Shi'ar in there?
Yeah, man.
Fuck you.
Jessica Chastain is like the Shi'ar lady. They did the space cosmic force version
But isn't
of the Dark Phoenix. And it's too much shit to put in one movie.
well,
Like,
what
that
was
is the
gonna say? I was like,
fundamental
I
problem with
thought,
Dark Phoenix.
I thought all the cosmic shit was still with Marvel proper.
No, they didn't have the Dark Phoenix cosmic shit. Well, they don't call it the Phoenix Force specifically. They never say Phoenix. It's really weird how they did it. Like they go out of like they could have just done like the coming of age thing, because this Jean is younger than Famke Janssen was when they did it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But they specifically don't really do that. They have like a lot of Sophie Turner. What she does is either look like an impassive god, which like that she's really good at that, or like cry and talk about how her emotions are making her weak, but then
Oh,
she decides
Jesus.
that her emotions make her strong at the end.
Okay.
So
Oh,
All right.
that's
Yeah.
good.
Great.
so it's just like
Unexpected.
there's no real arc for her or any character. It's really just a lot of people doing things with like no motivation.
Wow.
Has one really good fight scene though. Like
Just the one.
really just there's one, well, it's the one where Magneto shows up. All of
Mm.
his fight scenes are good because Michael Fassbender, despite his face really getting, he had a really good run for 2 years, like the most sexy man in the world, and it faded very quickly. He doesn't look like that anymore, but he's still so built, and his physicality, like his background as a theater actor, is very clear whenever he has to do like the Magneto stuff, because his understanding of the physical space and like how he interacts with things that don't necessarily exist is like really good. I always
Nice.
love seeing theater actors just do superhero movies. Can you tell I haven't like talked to anyone other than my roommates for a long
No.
time? I just really needed to be on the podcast today.
Yeah,
I missed you. Cado, how are you?
I'm okay. Ugh,
You know, how can we all be?
right, as okay as things can be, basically.
Yeah.
You know, just playing games. I feel like
Yeah.
that every day is the same now. I don't know what day it is normally. If it weren't for my
Yeah.
computer telling me.
It do be like that, man. I really
Uh,
don't know fucking anything anymore.
I've been streaming Final Fantasy Remake, which is fun.
That sounds nice.
Yeah.
I should watch you stream
Yeah, I should
and
come
cheer you
by.
on. Yeah, I'll do it.
Streaming is fun. It is the only other people I talk to. Well, I mean, talk to my friends, but something about that is also different.
Yeah,
Everyone's
it's
busy. It's always like in small chunks. Everyone's busy in the weirdest way because we
yeah,
all already, a lot of my friends are illustrators, so they're all already freelance, and you know, they're all like working still, but things like haven't changed for them a little bit, but you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I finally went outside. Things are different, man. I didn't really hit until I went outside for the first time in like many weeks. Like people act different. I saw a runner with a mask on, and for some reason that was the thing that really blew my mind.
Yeah,
Which is like, woof. Okay,
we're
this
here.
applies to even things I was not really thinking about at all.
Uh-huh.
Fuck. So yeah, I found a bandana. There's an executive order. So here we are. Anyway, I'm Gita. I'm simply Gita, and that's the only thing that's ever been true.
I told myself I would watch more movies, and I haven't.
I did really good for 1 week, and then I was
That
like,
was
fuck.
I was so mad. I was so mad. The Met Opera is offering their operas for free on the internet, but on a
Oh,
limited
man.
basis.
What?
It's like every night there's a new one that they put up, and then they take it down 24 hours later and put up a new one.
Okay, I understand that, but that's also really stupid.
Yeah, I hate it. I want to.
What is stupid? I missed what was stupid.
It's good and bad. The Met Opera is putting up the recordings of their operas up for free, but only for like
Yeah.
a span of 24 hours or something, and then they take it down and put up a new one. And so like what, 2 weeks ago, like they started this like 3 weeks ago, and the second week in was the fucking Rheingold, the Ring saga, the Wagner.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna finally watch that. I heard that production was cool. And then I don't know, time escaped me. I didn't know what day it was ever. And I looked back, I was like, oh yeah, that was a thing that I should have done with my time. You know, watch some opera. But
Yeah.
I missed it, and because they took it all down, I can't see it anymore.
And now it's gone.
It was free.
Yeah.
The fucking would have been so fucking expensive to see it, but it's free. Fucked up. I'm sad.
I'm sorry.
This week they're doing
Criterion
Madama
Collection.
Butterfly.
Huh?
This week they're doing Madama Butterfly, but
Oh.
Rob was saying something, and then we were talking
No,
at the same
it's
time.
fine.
That's all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to say.
Madame Butterfly's good.
Yeah, I never seen it. I know it's racist, but I've heard it's great. So I know it's racist, and I missed Rusalka. But I also signed up for the Criterion Channel streaming thing, and it rips. It's really good. I immediately filled up my list of movies with like 30 different movies.
Yeah. The Columbia Noir collection they've got right now rules, and so does the Mifune collection. It's unreal.
Yeah.
The thing I need to do is I need to dig into that Von Sydow collection, but the problem is this. Bergman intimidates me
Why?
Yeah.
because
He's
there's
so
such reputation as serious films and not like
Just
not
watch them.
happy ones. Not
Just
you
watch
know what I
them.
mean?
You're good. I promise.
I mean,
You
okay.
don't. He doesn't have to. He doesn't. You have watched films by other equally serious and sad filmmakers. I promise.
Yeah.
I know your heart.
But you know, yeah, but you know what I mean. Like,
I do.
I just like something to go with my popcorn sometimes.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
I
I
know
know.
you do sometimes. I
Oh,
know.
that's Harry Lime.
Season
All
3
right. Well then,
of
okay.
Riverdale.
Here's what I'm gonna say. You should start. I don't know if it's on there. Let me see if it's on there. Start your Bergman with. I don't see it on here, which means it's probably not on here. Yes, it is. Start with Fanny and Alexander,
Okay.
which fits inside of a filmmaking lineage, or kind of one. It's from the '80s, so you're already like, okay, this is a different thing from what
Yeah.
you think of as Bergman. It's beautiful. It's a lot of there's a lot of spaces in it that are densely set in terms of the set dressing. There's lots of urban spaces. Again, lots of things that you don't come to mind with Bergman. It's a sort of generational story. I think it's in conversation, or other things that are in conversation with it include things like A Serious Man, or Avalon, the style of family drama. That is very interesting, in showing you the house. There is an entire, like, you should watch it, because I think that it is a great way to get the bits of Bergman's filmmaking that you are afraid of,
Yeah.
but through a fundamentally warm and familiar, and even sometimes magical, like, historical drama. So I think that is
Okay.
your go-to.
Yeah.
That is my. I'm not saying it doesn't have dark stuff in it, right? But like, or sad stuff in it. It absolutely does. But I think the fundamental through line there, you will come away feeling pretty positive. I haven't seen it in a decade, but it touched me so deeply that I was like, this is the one. So anyway,
I fucking love movies, man. That's
movies are good.
beautiful. Movies are good. I started watching on the Criterion Channel a movie I'd never heard of before from Todd Haynes called Safe, and that is truly a remarkable film.
I read David Roth's thing on it and almost watched it.
It's really, really good. It's very slow. It wasn't quite what I was in the mood for that night, but I remember just being transfixed by, what's her name?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 stars in the movie. What's her name? Julianne Moore. Julianne Moore's performance as just like the most ignored woman in the universe is really, really good. She has this tiny, soft little baby voice. She only talks at this volume the whole movie. And it's just like this really intense character study of a woman who's just completely ignored by everyone around her. Nothing about her is like, there's nothing, she gets no positive reinforcement from anyone in her life, and like it's just about her slowly like becoming allergic to the entire world and not having anyone that has any desire to help her.
God.
And it's beautiful looking. It is such a monument to that sort of mid 90s like the aesthetics, like capitalist aesthetics. Like everything's cream and mint, and like there's gauzy shades that, filter the sunlight through. It's very much an ode to a particular kind of aesthetic of richness of that time, which I haven't thought about in a long time, but it's really good. Movies fucking rock.
Movies, they're good.
Movies rock.
Movies rock.
Need to
Dudes
watch
rock
more
and
of them.
movies rock.
Gita, I love that mug. Turn it around. Let me look at its front.
Thank you.
That's very good.
Oh, that's exactly what I was hoping
That's what you
for.
hope. That's what you hope to see.
Amazing.
I've made this room very aesthetic because I need to be in it all of the time.
Your room is like a very good Animal Crossing bedroom, so I'm
Thank you.
here for it. I'm here for it.
Oh my god, let me show you the thing. So my boyfriend has this comically large poster for the movie The Master that I make fun of him for all the time. But I want you to know that I bought
That is
this
a statement poster.
It's as large as me. He got a theatrical, like a movie theater poster,
Damn.
not knowing it. And when it showed up, he showed it to me by literally throwing it on top of me, and it covered my entire body. It was very funny. So when I got this poster, I thought it was an 8.5 by 11 because it was only $15. So I want you to understand how I don't know where I'm gonna put this, and I suddenly feel so much closer to my boyfriend now.
It's good. What? Listen, just get it framed.
Yeah.
There's your second monitor. Just put it on your desk.
This massive poster of weed leaves. Like,
This is
am
good,
I really
actually.
like that? I mean, it fits in with the rest of the decor, though.
Yeah.
That's what's
Yeah,
fucking
that's the
me up.
thing.
It's the
That's
right
the thing.
aesthetic.
It's the absolute right aesthetic. But what the fuck, man? It's so big. And like, if my parents ever come to visit me again, they're never gonna stop making fun of me.
They will make fun of you a lot for that one. It's true.
Yeah. My dad will just fucking lose it.
All right. Are we ready to do a podcast after 30 minutes of chatting? me taking a phone call and
I don't know. I'm wiped
I've
out
been
at this
recording
point.
this whole ass time, so
yeah, me
like,
too. Me too. This is all going
How
in,
far
I'm
into
sure.
Seventh Seal are we?
Right. Yeah. All right. We should do a time.is.
I'm already fucking there.
Good. Good. I was not.
I was prepared this one time. This time, no other time.
This one time. Yes.
Been ready.
You
I've
must-
been waiting for it.
You must have been warned against letting the golden hours slip by, but some of them are golden only because we let them slip by. J.M. Barrie.
Damn.
Wow.
True.
Sometimes
Shout
it do
outs.
be like
I don't
that.
know. I don't know anything about James Matthew Barrie, so I don't want to be like shout outs. But
There's one good poem by what's this guy? The guy that did well, he the one of those poets that hates women. I don't know. The one in the 60s.
Probably.
Bukowski.
Yeah, Bukowski. There's
Bukowski.
one
Yeah.
good- I had a friend who told me that I should read The Women by Bukowski. It's a great book. And I read it and it was just like, man, I'm cheating on my girlfriend and she hates that I'm cheating on her. Women are so crazy. That's the whole fucking book. That's the whole book.
Yeah, that sounds like Bukowski to me.
Anyway,
There's like some good phrases in there, but probably not worth it to deal with the
I
misogyny.
didn't finish it because I was just like,
No,
all
you're
of this
good.
entire book is about hating
I've
women.
not read. I've read some of his poetry. I've not read the book in which he hates women called The Women, which
There's one
um,
good line from a poem of his that I like. I do like his poetry. It's just, yes, some lives were made to be wasted. Just
that's the
like,
same. That's the same quote as this J.M. Barrie one, just
Yeah.
60s instead of 1890s or whatever. All right, you want to do clap at the top of the minute? All right,
Clap.
good clap.
Close this.